Namaste everyone. Today's class is about the mantras. We all recite several different kinds of mantras for different occasions also. And some of the mantras are very favorite to us. They're so dear to us, we keep on chanting all the time. Especially our Guru mantra and Om. Okay. What is a mantra? Mantra is a sacred sound that empowers the mind for concentration and also the transcendence of ordinary states of consciousness. A mantra can consist of a single syllable, which is called a beach or seed, like Om, or mantra could also be a string of sounds and words, which may or may not have a meaning. We all know that sound waves can and do affect matter. So that's why it's not surprising that mantra also affects our mind and intellect. This is the basic idea behind sacred sounds used in meditation and chanting. Mantra. This is a compound word, Sanskrit word. Man plus tra. Man means mind, tra means protection. Okay? Protection through a instrument. So that's why mantra is an instrument in the form of a sound to protect and calm our mind. That's a mantra. So it's like a tool for protecting our minds from what? Why does a mind need the protection? Because mind is trapped of very unproductive cycles. And these cycles are our thoughts. Very unproductive. This mind takes our consciousness down. So with the help of the mantra, we just raise our awareness upward. Another way you can remember that mantra is a focusing device. A mantra is designed to awaken our mind from its habitual sleep of ignorance. Mantras are given out by the people of wisdom. Those people, those rishis who have realized the deep significance of those syllables. Every mantra has a presiding deity. The belief is that when a person chants a mantra, he or she should keep in mind the form of that deity. Whenever we say Ram, 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 the form of Ram. When we say Shiva, the form of Shiva. When we say Ganesha, Nama, form of Ganesh. Three types of mantras are described. Those that invoke the low powers of nature, those are tamasic mantra. Those that excite the manifest power and might in us, that's a rajasic mantra. Those that lead to spiritual experience, sattvic mantra. As students of spirituality, practitioners of yoga, we are interested only in sattvic mantras. We want to stay away from the tamsikta and the rajasikta. And again, all mantras fall under two further classifications. those that are simply to be chanted with no need to understand their meaning. And the second category is those that are of the nature of an invocation. And these mantras require that we know their meaning. Because without knowing the meaning, we won't be able to bring the mind to play upon the divine theme. Of all the mantras, the most powerful and significant one is the single syllable incantation called Pranav. Om. Om. The rishis, they have said that all four Vedas, Rig Ved, Sam Ved, Yajur Ved, Atharva Ved, if you take the summary of it, summary is Gayatri mantra. And if you take the summary of Gayatri mantra, it is Om. Om is God in the form of sound. The sound Om is as pervasive as God itself. By repeating Om, a person can gain a direct experience of consciousness beyond time and space and attain freedom from ignorance, false identifications, attachments, aversions, and fear of death. That's what the yogis have experienced. But these mantras, whether it's a Om or any other mantra, they need to be recited with a bhavana. That means repetition of this sacred mantra Om need to be contemplated on the existence of God. Rishi Patanjali said, Tat japa, tat arth bhavanam. You should know the meaning of it too, not just only keep on repeating like a parrot does. The arth, the meaning. That means when you repeat the syllable Om or the mantra Om, make sure your mind is filled and the heart is also filled with the feeling of God. To cultivate feeling for God and to concentrate your mind on that feeling, consequently, the mind becomes clear because we want to have a clear mind. Mind will become cheerful. Mind will become radiant. And also one-pointed. It becomes a perfect conduit for self-realization. Because mind is the conduit. Purify this mind. How to focus with this mind? How to use this mind for upward movement? And Om, chanting of Om helps us. Over there, Rishi said, the essence of all beings is earth. The essence of earth is water. The essence of water is plants. The essence of plants is a man. The essence of man is speech. The essence of speech is the holy knowledge, Vedas. The essence of Veda is Samved. And the essence of Samved is Om. Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita also mentioned this. This is how powerful the chanting of Om is. By its sound and form, Om symbolizes the infinite Brahm and the entire universe. There are four element syllable in there. 4. Let's look at the syllables first. And Jyoti will share a picture over here for all of us so that you can understand what this Om is all about. Yeah, this is the one. You're all familiar with this symbol, Om. You're all familiar with this 3 states of consciousness. This bottom curve in this form is the waking state, Jagrat Avastha. And the upper curve, that is, first look at the mid curve on the side, because that also goes downward. See, the bottom curve is at the bottom, and this mid curve is also moving towards the down. So that is a dreaming state. And this upper is the Sushupti, the sleeping. And then this a half circle, half moon, that is like a semicircle, that is called Maya, illusion, duality. And on the top, the dot is the Turiya, the Atma. So when we look at this symbol, we can remember that this is our life. Our goal is to know who we are, the dot up there. So Om. The rishis also say that this is a 3 matra, 3 matra of Om. The Jagrat, the Swapan, and the Sushupti. 3 matra. So those are almost like a matra means a form. When we recite also, there is a sound A, sound A, and sound Ma. These are the 3 sounds we recite. And if we do it properly, ultimately there is a silence. After the recitation of Om, there's a silence. That silence is the infinite, the Atma. So every recitation of Om, there is a silence. And that silence should connect us with the Atma. So let's go back now. A verse in the Vedas say that in the beginning there was Prajapati, with whom was the Word. And the Word was verily the Supreme Brahma. And this is the syllable Om. That's why it's called Pranav. Constantly it's going in the universe. And we are part of the universe. It's going inside us too. Om. But our mind is so cluttered, so much noise in there, that we don't listen to this word, which is called as Safota also. It's called Pranava also. And Pranav really means that it is something that pervades life, runs through one's pran and breath. All our Upanishads, they talk about this Om, Pranav. Speaking on Om, the Taittiriya Upanishad says, "Thou art the sheath of Brahma." That means Om is the container for the Supreme. Therefore, invoking Om is invoking the Supreme. Okay, so if we are saying Om and in our mind the bhavana is not about the supreme reality, we are missing out. Remember, there are three aspects Om has. First is the mere sound. Mantra as pronounced by the mouth. Second is the meaning of the syllable, which a person must realize through feeling. When I say Om, the feeling of supreme in me. Third is the application of Om in one's character, in one's action, and in one's life. So it's not just the uttering the Om all day long. It's not just the feeling of Om, God everywhere, but it's the show. It should show in our character, in our actions, and in our life. Om represents the self, which is the self, supreme. Non-dual reality. That means everywhere. So that's why this symbolically knowing Om, we all go through this. We all are that. That means it's a non-dual. All of us. And the dot on the top, when you look at the consciousness level, I said the Jagrat Avastha, the dream state, the sleeping state, and the sleepless state, the dot is called the Turiya Avastha. There is some entity within ourselves who's present in the waking world, who moves and illumines the dream also, who is a distant observer in the deep sleep state, but who is not conditioned by any of these three realms. What is that which stays awake even during deep sleep? That entity, that consciousness, yogis called it Turiya, the fourth state, and that is the dot on the top. That is the real, the changeless, the intelligent principle. The Turiya again is that silence. That is called Atam Brahm also. The other three states, they are transformation of one's experience. They definitely constitute the totality of the modes of the Om experience. But the Turiya is the complete silence. But the sound O and Au is needed also. After the the Ma, there is a silence. People recite this Om, produce this sound with a lot of effort also. They want to make sure they say it right. They want to make sure that rolling of the tongue, the voice where it's coming from is correct. That is okay. It's okay to do that. But don't forget the real meaning, the feeling, and the meaning behind all this, that we are trying to connect with the Supreme. So sound from the throat is okay. The rolling of the tongue is all right. Breathing properly, that's okay. In the beginning, ultimately you'll be able to say it all correctly, but your awareness towards what you are trying to do with the help of this recitation should remain there. So Om is truly symbolic of God. And every mantra, whether we are reciting the Gayatri mantra or any other mantra, it includes Om. Without Om, no sacred living body has no vitality. When the life-giving breath has ceased, So too a mantra has no life in it without Om. When we do the yajnas also, so many times we recite Om, and each time if we connect with God, when we recite Om, you can see that what kind of effect will have on our mind. So Om represent both the manifest and the unmanifest. So manifest is those curves that manifest and unmanifest together constitute the entire gross and subtle worlds. Om also represents that which lies beyond both the manifest and unmanifest, the Brahma. All possibilities of experience in life, which has been traced by the rishis into the 14 worlds, 14 lokas, is possible with the recitation of Om. What are these 14 lokas? There are 7 higher worlds and 7 lower worlds. There are, out of those upper 7, there are 3 worlds where the limited ego comes to play its game of reincarnation and repeated deaths. What are those 3 worlds? Bhu, Bhava, and Swa. These are upper, but in the upper they are lower. Bhu means this earth, physical earth. Bhava means the world next to the physical, the space. It's like a connected to, constituted of the finer matters, more subtle. And then Swa is higher than that, heavenly world. So Bhu, Bhava, Swa. We recite this before many, many mantras, Om, Bhur, Bhava, Swa. Then there are 4 more abodes, upper abodes. They are called Mahalok, Janalok, Tapolok, and Satyalok. Satyalok is the highest. Higher evolutionary life is there in those lokas. But then there are lower loks also, lower abodes also. And those are also 7. They are called Tal. Upper is called Lok, this is called a Tal. Patal, Mahatal, Rasatal, Talatal, Sutal, Vital, and Atal. These are the 7 lower regions. And we learned about these in Ramayana. The Rakshasas, they'll go there to these tals, lower regions. Devatas, they go into the upper regions. So of these 14 worlds, Bhu, Bhuva, Swaha, denoting the 3 worlds, are called Vahitris also. Vahitri is a Sanskrit word that translates as speech or to utter. So Vahitris are the utterings of the names of the higher lokas. So the reason I'm mentioning it over here, in case you have heard that these are the 3 Vahitris, especially in Gayatri mantra, we use these Vahitris, the 3 lokas, upper lokas. And I'm sure all of you are familiar with Gayatri mantra. Let's move on to that right now. Om Bhu Bhuva Swaha. So these are the 3 upper lokas. Tat Savitra Varenayam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodhyat. Mantra may be translated as follows, because different people, they have translated differently. My own Guruji, let me tell you how he translated this mantra, which makes perfect sense to me. He says, Om, Parbrahma, or the Supreme Soul, God, pervades the three worlds. These Vahitris he's talking about. Bhu, Bhava, Swaha. Where exists nothing but God alone in his purest form. And God is in the form of infinite light, which is beyond comparison. We cannot say that this light is bigger or smaller than anything else. Beyond comparison. And it also means there's nothing to be compared with this light. We can compare different watts of bulbs. We can compare different flames of Agni. But this light, there's nothing else it can be compared with. Beyond comparison. Let us meditate on that divine light of the Supreme Soul. Why? Its meditation would enhance the perception of our intelligence. It will lead us to God realization. I always tell you to go through the word meanings also of the mantras. That way you can draw your own conclusion whether somebody who's telling you the meaning is correct or not. This is what I learned from my Guruji. Always go into the heart of the Rishi who wrote the mantra. And who wrote this mantra? Which Rishi? We should know that also. Rishi Vishwamitra. He is the one who came up with this mantra. These are called the Ilahi mantra. That means it's a word of God. From the intuition, from the samadhi, in that state, they got these mantras in samadhi. So Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha, that I already told you. What does it mean? Bhu Bhuva Swaha, God, Supreme Brahm, everywhere. Earth, space, beyond the space. And this beyond could be into the other loks also. It doesn't stop only at the third lok. Tat means that. Savitra means creator. We are talking about the Supreme Brahma. We are not talking about any Devi over here. Devis are just the powers of God. We are talking about the God himself who created all the Devi Devatas. We are connecting with the supreme reality, Par Brahm. Varenium. Varenium means I choose. Varenium. Bhargo means the light, Prakash. Devasya divine. Dhimehi, to meditate. Dhiyo, the intellect. Yo means you. We are talking to God. In the mantra, we are talking to God. We are saying, God, please do this for me. I need you. What? Na means ours. Prachodhyat, increase. We are saying, God, make my intellect divine also, full of light also, and please expand also. We all know there are 4 kinds of intellects. 4 kinds. There is a Pashvik intellect, which is Pashvik means like animals, where there's a Tamsikta. It's not a body of an animal, it's the intellect of the animal nature. Where we have violence in our intellect, where we want to hurt somebody, where we want to put down somebody. Then there's a Manviya intellect, which is like a ordinary human beings. Greed, hoarding, obsession about the money, obsession about the materialism. That is Manviya. Then there is a Devi. Devi is Satvik, little better. there's a higher than this, higher than tamasic, rajasic, and sattvic, is called Arsh Buddhi. Over here, we are praying to God for that kind of intellect. That please increase my intellect to that Arsh level. Arsh, so godly, divine. That's what Arsh means. And that kind of an intellect can visualize, can see that God is everywhere. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna called it Ritambra Tatra Pragya. That pragya, that buddhi, make it, please God, make it to that level where it becomes intuition. I'm not satisfied with the Devik, and I definitely don't want to be a Manviye. And Pashvik, no, please, help me. This is the reason we recite this mantra. This Gayatri mantra. I mean, now you can see that why this is the summary of all the Vedas. And you can see that why the summary of Gayatri mantra is God. Om. In a simple way, if you want to remember the meaning of this, we are saying that we meditate upon the auspicious godly light of the Lord. May that heavenly light illumine the intellect, our intellect. So dhimahi, don't forget that this is about the dhi, the buddhi. So Gayatri mantra is one of the oldest mantra. It is seen in all the Vedas, and in the oldest Veda is a Rig Ved. That's where it was observed first. But then repetition of this came in the other Vedas also. Remember, this mantra is never chanted for the purpose of material and other gains. Don't say that God, see, just like yesterday we were talking about, a Bhagat does ask. Some Bhagats do ask for the money also, for the health also, wealth also, for the progeny also. Gayatri mantra is not used for that. Gayatri mantra is for the buddhi. Arsh buddhi. It is an invocation that concludes with an appeal to the pure consciousness to unveil itself and come to manifest as pure wisdom in our life. And with that kind of a wisdom, we do the actions then. Our actions are full of wisdom. So again, if somebody asks you, where is it written? It's recorded in the Rig Ved, the ancient of all the four Vedas. Some people say it is a prayer to sun. Sure, it could be, but only when we are seeing the supreme Brahm in the sun. Lord Krishna said, I'm in the sun also. But don't look at only the sun, this sun. We are talking about the creator who created millions and billions of other suns too. Sure, you can use that sun, but in your mind, remember Parabrahma. Lord Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, the light that pervades the sun and the moon is all my light. So another way, some rishis, they have explained this mantra, because it's good to know what the different rishis, what they drew out of it. First, I gave you my own Guruji's interpretation of this mantra. Now look at this one. May my intellect be steady without agitations. So this is not a word by word, but still this is the essence of that mantra. May it be clean without the dirt of passions. That means I don't want a manviya buddhi. May the light of consciousness come to shine forth its radiance through my intellect. May my perception of the world be clear. We want more and more clarity. My discrimination subtle. My judgments correct and quick. my comprehension of situation precise and wise. So this is the interpretation. So if you remember the word by word meaning of this mantra, then you look at the direct translation, then you can say that, yeah, this is what I'm saying. The usual prescribed daily worship of a Hindu includes repetition of this Gayatri mantra. Morning and evening. How many times? 10 times. 10 times in the morning and 10 times in the evening. Can you imagine 10 times if you say this while keeping your mind connected to God? Don't you think it will have its effect? It is considered a purification act, a method of reintegrating your mind. Because in the evening when we do it, all day long, mind has been busy in this world. So again, we are cleaning it. So that's how purification happens. And in the morning, before starting our day, if we do it, then again, we are being ready with these kind of thoughts in our mind to deal with the challenges and the situations of our life. So 10 times in the morning, 10 times in the evening, it doesn't take that long. That's what our rishis told us to do. We have forgotten. This is what we need to do. Other artis, if you do, that's fine, but include this in there first. If the 10 becomes 11, that's fine. It should not become 9. Remember that whatever method you choose. In Manu Samriti, we read, see, there are Shrutis and there are Samritis. You're all familiar with, right? Shrutis are the primary scriptures. Vedas are called the Shrutis. Bhagavad Gita is called the Shruti. Samriti is the secondary scriptures. Very important, lot of details are given in there. And there is one secondary scripture which is called Manu Samriti. Over there, it said that in the early dawn, by doing the job while standing, one ends all sins committed during the night. And by doing a job in the evening while sitting, one ends one's sins committing during the day. According to the Vedic philosophy, sin means the agitations created in the mind. So that means any kind of agitation we had while we were sleeping, whether it was a physical discomfort or whether it was during the dream state, we got some kind of a discomfort. It will help us to come back at the right place. And then during the daytime also, we said something, we did something, we happened to put our foot on a end. We didn't mean it, but it still happened. The Manu Samriti says at least do this much. So agitations created in the mind by our own negative actions and the tendency to repeat these actions as a result of our vasanas, which are left in the mind, that is the sin. So sin is always any obstacle on our path of improvement. Each day has 2 sandhyas. Sandhya, what is a sandhya? Sandhya means blending point of day and night. So these Gayatri mantras, We are supposed to recite during those 2 sandhyas. So 10 times each sandhya. Let me end today's class with a little story from Taittiriya Upanishad. Because these Upanishads, they give us a very thought-invoking stories. Because stories can be remembered. Sometimes the message we forget. But if we remember the story, our mind comes back onto the message again and again. Taittiriya Upanishad explains the reason why we need to chant this Gayatri mantra daily. On an island long time ago called Arunam lived a tribe of devils called Mandehas. So Arunam is the island and Mandehas are the devils. Every morning, these devils conquered all space and almost reached the sun, threatening to destroy the sun. But the water thrown by the Gayatri japists was lightning strong, striking the devils and forcing them to retreat to their island. So this story is a symbolic of the events in our mind. Those devils are what? Those negative tendencies, negative thoughts in our mind. Mandehas. Man and Deh. They are the sources of our activities. With our likes and dislikes, with our emotions, with our appetites, passions, cravings, we bring out our passionate animal instincts. And with this kind of a passion, these kind of intellects, negative tendencies, we try to conquer and destroy the spiritual essence, Brahm in us. So the essential brilliance of the human intellect is clouded by these passions. The Gayatri Japa, with the force of lightning, descends upon them and dissipates them. So this is how powerful this Gayatri mantra is. Recited with the right bhavna, keeping the meaning of it in our mind, why we are doing it, keeping the goal in our mind, but repetition every single day, morning and evening. This is prescribed by our rishis, our saints. This is the reason Vishwamitra ji came up with this beautiful mantra. And we all know, we have memorized it, but when we recite it, keeping this in mind, that I want to attain that Arsh Buddhi, the intellect of mine. I want to make it not only the Kushagar. Kushagar means the intellect which can understand the material nature. But I want to make my intellect subtle also, suksham also. That's Arsh. So suksham that it can see God everywhere. Let's recite this mantra together 3 times at least. And then after that, if you have any question, we can talk about it. Om Bhurbhuvaswaha Tatsavitravarinyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuvaswaha तत्सवित्रवरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्. ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवित्रवरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. Thank you very much. So now I'll give you some time to ask questions, comments.
Rita ji.
I want to ask you something.
Sure.
Thank you very much. Why do we say Shanti for 3 times?
Yeah, Shanti for 3 times. Let me tell you quickly.
What type of batteries?
There are several reasons, but one simple reason is there are 3 layers of our personality: physical, mental, and intellectual. We want those to be peaceful. We are saying, God, keep my body healthy. That is at a physical level. Then we are saying, mental level, all the agitations, I want those to go away. Please, God, help me. And intellectual level. Okay, 3 Shantis. So there are so many other reasons also. When I do other mantras, I'll explain that also. But today, just remember that. So we want a peaceful body, healthy body, calm mind,
Yes.
and a clear intellect. Okay. So
Thank you very much. Namaste, Hersh ji.
Namaste, namaste, Samita. Namaste.
Hersh ji, just one question. For the evening time, is it okay to do it before bedtime, or can we do it earlier, or does it matter?
Just as long as you do it before bedtime, you can do it too, whatever time. But make sure that you don't change the time. Whatever you decide, whatever works for you according to your own timetable, just keep it the same, please. Here and there, if you have to change, it's okay. But most of the time, we should be strict with our discipline. See, that's why Rishi Patanjali, what did he say? Atha Yoga Anushasana. Anushasana means strict discipline. Because this is something for something so important. So this should be given the first priority. Okay. So does that answer your question, Rita?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Anybody else?
Harsh ji, beautiful, beautiful class. And this reminded me of Guruji's lecture, original lecture in 92.
Yeah,
of the Gayatri mantra ka jo unhone diya explanation diya.
That's right. That's right. I'm sure he did a much better job than I did, but I'm just only a mouthpiece for him. So I explained whatever he has.
Yeah, you have done a very, very good job. You equally good. Very good job.
Thank you. So anybody else? Any other question, comment? No? Okay, Rita.
Hersh ji,
Yes, Shivi.
पहली लाइन फिर से कहिएगा, क्योंकि I think I say it little differently. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha.
Tat Suvitra Varenyam.
Suvitra. And I say it Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam.
Yeah, Suvitra, yeah.
The same things.
Same thing. That's fine. A little twist here and there according to our own upbringing.
That's how it's in my brain.
But whether you say Savitru or Savitra, that really means a creator. Just
Same
remember
thing.
that. Bhagwan ko kehne hain hum.
Yeah.
Varenyam word is like a choosing something.
Oh, okay.
The root word of Swambar. Swambar, that's a Varenyam. So over there, a princess chooses a prince. Over here, we are saying that we choose you, God.
God, okay.
We are choosing you. You are the choicest light for us. Because a light could be a physical light, like a candle light.
That's right. Yeah.
Light could be A subtle light of our man.
Yeah.
Okay, but we are saying we want your light. We want you. Okay, so we choose you. Yes, Jyoti.
Manju,
Oh, Ellie?
I have a question.
Okay, Manju has a question. Manju?
Namaste. No question. You said any comment. So the comment is amazing, amazing, amazing.
Yeah, see,
You teach with so much love and passion and like reinforcement, suggestion, all that. And again, we
yeah,
all know that you do it yourself, and that's how you can speak with so much conviction.
yeah. See, हमारे
Because,
ऋषि ने
you know,
कुछ दिया हमें, has given us so
my
much,
gosh.
and still, if we don't follow their footsteps, then sure we're gonna be crying, we're gonna be unhappy.
And
Came to my mind
Hersh,
this morning. Sure, we should do this. Manu Samriti says. Our Samriti, they say another thing. This is like a maybe most of you do it, or if you don't do it, it's okay. I don't need to know. But start doing it, you will see the benefit of it. Just like a Gayatri mantra I said in the morning and evening, if you do it, purification will happen, connection will happen. But you got to do it. How many of you really, when you leave home, go into your altar and do the pranam? And when you come back, do the pranam? Do you do it?
I do it.
You do, right? Good. That should be done. Just like if we had some elderly person living in our house, what would we do? Before leaving, we'll say, I'm leaving. When we come back, pranam again, I have come back. God lives in our house. There's a presence of God in our house and we ignore it.
Archie, 1 second. 1 second.